So two Sacramento race soldiers still have their jobs despite being under investigation for calling a group of minors ghetto and retarded, and improperly handcuffing a black boy detained during an incident. So newly released documents show in October 2021, Sacramento Police Chief Kathy Lester reprimanded Officer Brandon Lundgren for discrimination allegations and his colleague Officer Connor Lawrence for using excessive force associated with the 2020 incident. Now, police records it stated on October 10, 2020, the two were dispatched to Delta Shores shopping complex to answer a call regarding juveniles loitering, fighting, and bothering other customers. However, once the officers arrived at the scene, they repeatedly turned on and off their body cameras. Well, boy, that's suspicious, isn't it? Why you turn them on and why you turn them off? They should not have the ability to turn them off for no reason unless they're in the restroom. Selectively recording their inappropriate actions and comments toward the young people. During the time that the camera was on, it captured Lawrence asking his partner, how many of these kids you think are drinking lean? And, well, he said a bad word there, a word we should not be saying here. According to a disciplinary letter released by the department, Lundgren answered all of them. So the letter said the footage recorded the officers calling the kids so ghetto, and also saying they should just grab somebody when approaching the kids. It said the comment about grabbing any kids gathering was made multiple times. It said the department said they failed to use their training regarding the Racial and Identity Profiling Act and used force even when it wasn't called for. Well, you know, that's the history of the race soldiers, to always use force when it's not called for. That's an example of this is when Lundgren had a conversation with one of the young black teens about having guns to be cool to their friends and referring to young people as a pack of wolves out here destroying the community. Lundgren also said to the 14-year-old black boy, okay, you're the first one, and proceeded to handcuff him and place him in the backseat of a patrol car. Now, according to the letter, the teen was handcuffed for 27 minutes. However, no one from the department documented the incident. Despite the public outcry, both race soldiers were required to complete training. A year after the altercation, Lawrence and Lundgren were required to attend a 3-day immersion training course involving resilience, compassion, and leadership for law enforcement. The two race soldiers were also made to participate in a 2-week temporary duty assignment in the engagement division of the department. Where they were to develop and complete a community project with young people in the South Sacramento community. Community organizer Sonia Lewis believes the race soldiers should have been disciplined more harshly. People in the black community have stressed for a long time that training doesn't deter this type of behavior. It's a culture. It's a norm of law enforcement. I would like to see the suspensions unpaid. We need to hit them in the pockets too often. When something really goes awry, it always hits the taxpayer in the pocket with huge settlements are paid out for wrongdoings by race soldiers. Now, during the July 2021 interview with the department's Internal Affairs Division, Lundgren acknowledged that his remarks to the boy saying first victim might have had a potentially negative effect on the minor. The race soldier recognized that such a statement could have led to the child to believe that he might become a victim of something at the hands of the race soldier. Both of the race soldiers involved, the city and the Seattle Police Department have remained silent about the release of their records and have not addressed the severity or appropriateness of the reprimand they received for their actions. As always, a slap on the wrist. Nothing happens to the race soldiers. The only time that something happens to the race soldiers is when brothers and sisters get out there and have a uprising. That's the only time they listen. But you leave it on them, it's going to be training. They had training before they went out there. They're sitting there like, man, this is stupid. Why I got to go to this dumb training? Because they don't take it seriously. They don't care because y'all not willing to fire them and take them pensions away and suspend their peace officer license. See, once you start doing things like that, they'll quit because they don't want to lose their livelihood. You always hit them in the pocketbook. Just like the sister said, the city always losing money with paying out these lawsuits. So at minimum, I think these police should be paying these lawsuits to the city. Why not? Why should the city always be on the hook for their actions? But let me know what y'all think about, this particular story here. But like I said, it's classic race soldier behavior, so there's nothing that surprises any of us.